Hello and welcome. Welcome to another video with me, Veerle de Bruyne. And it's been a while that I have started a series of videos with Neptune. And I think I've done already the introduction around Neptune and a couple of other topics. And also Neptune with Venus, Neptune with Mars. And I would like to address now Neptune with Mercury. So in this video I will be talking about if you have an aspect, a telephone line between Mercury and Neptune in a natal chart. And also after that I will be talking about transits, so having Neptune as a transit on your natal Mercury, and then a tiny little bit of synastry as well. So let's get started when you have this in a natal chart. The Neptune and the Mercury. And with an aspect I mean the main aspects. So when Mercury and Neptune are together, for instance, in a conjunction, that's the hard aspect. An opposition, they are in opposite of each other, that's also a tough aspect. Or in a square, 19 degrees of difference. The more easy aspects, but also the same energy, is the trine and the sextile. So, but I will be talking in general about this Neptune and Mercury. Now let's have a look at what if you have this in a natal chart, an aspect between Mercury and Neptune. First of all, it's a very, how would I say, those two planets, they don't understand each other. So Mercury is all about, I want to have facts, I want to know everything. I want to have proof, I want to investigate, I want to focus, I want to know. That's Mercury. And Neptune is, so the Mercury only believes when they have the facts and so on and so on. It's very analytical, it's very in detail. It's the ruler of Virgo, a very analytical and rational sign, and also the ruler of Mercury. Yeah, Mercury is the ruler of Mercury. Mercury is the ruler of Gemini. And that is also a sign that loves to communicate, that loves to know all the facts. Now Neptune is nothing like that. Neptune is more, you could say, if Mercury is the mind and the reasoning, then Neptune is the heart, and Neptune is the inspiration. Neptune wants to look a bit further than we, it wants to look beyond our world. That's Neptune. So they are a bit of contradiction of each other. And when you put them together, it is quite a challenge, because you've got this planet Mercury here who wants to know the detail, who wants to get to the detail, and he's together with Neptune, who wants to be creative, be inspired, go with the flow. So it can be a blessing and occurs at the same time, because of course, as with everything, this has negative sides and it also has positive sides. Let's start with the positive, because the positive is that whenever you combine this Mercury is also the planet of movement, the planet of, yes, the planet of movement. And if you connect that with inspiration, movement can be very inspirational. A lot of dancers have got an aspect between Mercury and Neptune, because everything goes very gracefully. The Neptune is very much, you could say, associated with the divine and with the ideal. And Mercury's movement, so very beautiful. Like when I think of ballet, I think of the Mercury and the Neptune. Ballet seems very easy if you look at it. If you look at it, it's like, especially the women, they're like feathers, but the jumping and all of that, it demands such an energy and such a focus, which is Mercury. And people don't see it, but it isn't that easy. Also with people who are very inspirational and people who not only with dancing, I mean every kind of sport. Often people who have this flair, this thing, that this extra, this inspirational, charismatic touch, whenever they do some kind of sport, whether it is Tai Chi or ballet, they always have that kind of extra that inspires other people. So you can be a ballet dancer who knows exactly the technique, which is Mercury. Mercury is the technique and the finishing touch and every detail. And someone can be very, very technical, advantaged, and be a perfect ballet dancer doing all the movements. But when he's or she is on the stage, no one feels something. And that is the extra that Neptune can give. Neptune can give this extra charisma, this extra connection with the divine, which brings us into a world that is so much broader than what we know and what we can see with and feel with all the five or the five senses. So Neptune is like that, this extra. Mercury is also our direction in life. So we want to, together with Mars, but Mercury is about a focus, and I want to put my focus somewhere on something, on some piece of information, because Mercury is often considered as how we process information. Then we can, if you have Neptune in an aspect, you process information in an alternative way, because whenever a planet like Mercury is connected to another planet that has nothing to do with Mercury, it needs to express itself in a very alternative way. So the information comes in a bit alternatively. Maybe someone with a Mercury-Neptune connection is therefore also seen as a lot of people are psychic with this connection. They rather feel than they have this logic of, for instance, if you work, let's say, as a recruiter, and you don't have this aspect, you've got a very strong Mercury, for instance, and you work as a recruiter, you are going to recruit people with your logic. You are going to say, okay, this person, you know, his shirt, it's not ironed, he's not really clean, he is neglecting a bit himself or whatever. You are going to look at Mercury, at the details. Oh, I see a gap here between 2012 and 2013 on your resume, or how do you call that? What have you been doing in that time? So this is Mercury. When someone is recruiting, and so having the Mercury-Neptune aspect, they won't be like that. They will feel, they will say, he fits in that company that I know that is still looking for someone like him or like her. Or no, this feeling that I got with this person, I don't know why. I don't have facts like he's good at this or he's good at that, but I feel this is not the match for the company that I'm looking for, a person. So, and both views are good, but they are different. So they make their assumption, or they make their conclusion in a different way. So someone with Mercury-Neptune can be very psychic, very feeling like, and feel what is going on, and is very intuitive, and so they know what's not like going into the depths of the depths, but they know what's going on with other people. They know what's going on in situations. They don't always know the intentions, though. That's more a bit of a Scorpionic thing. People with a lot of planets in Scorpio, they know the intention. But with the Mercury-Neptune, it's a feeling. And so in a positive way, if you've got this aspect, even in a square or in an opposition, and certainly in an opposition, take that Neptune, don't project it to other people. So because other people will, you will have difficulties in pinpointing other people and really seeing who they are, and putting on maybe a rose pair of glasses. So but the positive thing is that you can be inspired. You have a tendency to be just at the right time, at the right moment, and be good with photography, with everything that has to do with the inspiration of the minute, the inspiration of the day, and having there that timing, that divine timing is so perfect with the people with Mercury and Neptune. They tap into something that is bigger than themselves. They tap into information that is beyond themselves, that is beyond this realm, and that is from the divine, whether they believe in God or not. They feel that that this reality is just one reality. There are more realities, and they can see through things or realms that not everybody sees. So that's a gift, you could say. And with a bit of practice, it can help you really well, and it can help you to have that connection with the divine, to have that connection to know exactly what your path is without too much overthinking, overanalyzing. You just feel. These people, I find these people have a flair. They have this, they swim through life almost. They don't hesitate. They know what is right. They know, even when people would say, ooh, this is restricting me, they would say, oh yes, it just comes and it goes. It's a bit like that. So they go with the flow, and they know how to do that. Now, in a negative way, there's always a positive and a negative. So in a positive way, inspiration, divine information, a divine messenger. Mercury and Neptune is a divine messenger. Your message comes from, you don't know from where it comes, but it's certainly not from you. That's how people feel when they have Mercury and Neptune. Now, in a negative way, if you combine the negative of Neptune, which is deception, which is not seeing clearly, which is just seeing what you want to see, which is escape, then of course this is the trickster, this is the deceiver, this is someone with a hard aspect and a very how would I say, with bad intentions and a personality, a soul that really wants to deceive others, that is really not happy with themselves, a soul that is really struggling with life, and they have this talent, you could say, of deceiving others. They have this talent to twist the reality. They have this talent to say, and they can express it in a very charismatic way, but you know, it's a lie or it's not reality. And sometimes this is done on purpose, and sometimes this is not done on purpose. So people who've got this, especially in a hard aspect like the conjunction, the square and the opposition, have to ask themselves lots of times what the intention is of their messages, what the intention is of their communication. And then you can't go wrong. You can just do your best, can't you? So people with this aspect need to be, and trying to be, very realistic, very feet on the ground, and question themselves again and again. So you could say this is a negative thing that makes you insecure, but no, questioning yourself can improve yourself, and being open to other people's opinions as well. Not taking up too much other people's opinions. That again is something, you know, the Neptune is a chameleon kind of energy. And when the Mercury is together with the Neptune, you often find people with that in a natal chart that just take over other people's ideas, which are not theirs. Remember that Neptune wants to investigate other realms, wants to investigate other people's opinions and ideas. So it's very tricky there, especially with the hard aspect, to know that what you think is really your thinking. Is it really your thought, or are you being influenced? This is an aspect that is prone to being influenced by other people's thoughts, or influencing others in a rather negative way. to manipulate, in other words. Not to overpower, because that's more a Plutonian kind of way, but just to deceive you, just to put you on the wrong road, you could say. So it can be very malefic as well. People think, oh, Neptune is very nice. Oh, yes, it's Pluto that is very hard. And no, it's just different. Neptune and the Mercury people really need to ask themselves, what I'm thinking here, is it not a copy-paste that I'm doing from other people? This is really important. So, but if they do that, they can, and instead of, you could say this is a very confusing aspect, and in a way it is. If you are born with a Mercury-Neptune aspect, you're not going to be the most confident person of your in your speech, and you can say to yourself, oh, this is not nice, but you can see it as you're always open to find the best view, to find the best information to what is truth. These are truth seekers in a way as well, because they're constantly seeing different roads. I remember that a couple of months ago, I was in the car with my two men, with my son and my boyfriend, and my boyfriend is from the Netherlands, so we're living here in Belgium. I'm Belgian. This is just a tiny little story to explain the Mercury-Neptune on a very practical, mundane level. And he's a Dutch guy, and we were driving the other side of Belgium, which is not far. But and my son said, "But Dad, how come you always find your way? You always know exactly your way." And you know, especially for a Dutch guy who comes here in Belgium and knows all the roads. How come? He asked. My 12-year-old son asked that. How come? And I'm having trouble with this. Mea culpa. And my boyfriend, he answered, well, it's very logical, he said, because I've been lost so many times here. I've taken so many times the wrong road that now I know exactly where I'm heading at. And if there is someone who asks me, where can I find someone who sells good strawberries, for instance, or a farmer who sells his potatoes or whatever, he knows exactly where it is. So his information has grown tremendously through driving so many times the wrong way. And I'm so sorry, just hang on a second. Yeah, it's annoying me, but I think I got it right now. So this is a very Mercury-Neptune answer, and just by going, you think the wrong way, you actually improve your experience, not improve, but you enlarge, you enrich your experiences. And that is what Neptune is all about. It wants to, by the confusion, of course, but it wants to broaden you. It wants to give you more perspective. And although my son was not really happy with that answer, because he said, you know, he's a bit of a mercurial kind of child, and he said, yes, but it's annoying when you are a certain path and you want to take that path, and then you get off it. It's not what I want, you know. It's the ego speaking of, I disagree with that. But he was able to think about it. He said, yes, it's true that you know all the, you know a lot of ways now. So he was really sitting like this in the car, contemplating about it. But I thought this is a good example of the Mercury-Neptune, and that is basically the intention of Neptune. So let's come to the transits now. Whenever you have a Neptune transit on a Mercury, it's very much like we are going, if you're having a Neptune like transiting your Mercury, a conjunction or an opposition or a square, or even a trine or a sextile, it means that it's not in your natal chart, but you're going through a period of time, a year and a half, that you're going to feel exactly as my boyfriend described in the car, you know, you're gonna get lost. And but know that, and especially if you are a person who's very rational, who's got a lot of Earth planets, and they're having a Neptune on the Mercury, it's quite hard. It's not an easy transit at all. I know that people, sometimes I think that people neglect a little bit the Mercury, because they think, oh, it's just a thinking, it's not love, it's not about love, or it's not about identity. But Mercury is quite important, because it's your, it's the way that you think, it's the way that you see, it's your perception. Although the perception is often also seen through the moon. But anyways, what I'm trying to say is that you're going to be into a period of time where not, if you are someone who's very rational and you are always had a focus on something, you're not going to get that focus during this period. So it's better to adapt and to go with the flow a little bit. Again, even if you are someone who is always getting what they want, or who is always focusing very easily on something, and then off they go. So for other people who are already have some, let's say, Jupiterian, Neptunian emphasis in their chart, it's easier. It's easier for them. But then their problem can be that there are too much floating around. So it's always something, isn't it, in astrology? But this transit is there not to confuse you. This is really important, because especially in the beginning, people can think this is so confusing. The more I search for information, the less I know, you know, like in the song Jean Gabin, Je sais que je ne sais rien. And it's really that energy that drives you, that is the motivator of getting the truth and of seeing the truth and of being motivated to know the truth. So after that period of confusion definitely comes immense clarity. But I often seen that with clients, that the clarity only comes after the transit is totally over. It's not like with Pluto and Uranus. With Pluto and Uranus transits, the first time it hits you is the biggest change. And then it's just the fine-tuning. But with Neptune, it's like the result, the clarity, is not coming before the total end of the transit, because Neptune goes forwards, then it goes backwards, and so on. So this is quite important to know, that you have to be a bit patient, and the clarity will come. And it depends on where that Mercury is in your chart. Maybe it's in your 7th house of relationships, and relationships are driving you crazy. You don't know who that person is that is close to you, and you are today you think he's like that, and tomorrow you think she's like this. So or it's in your 10th house of work, and the Neptune is in your 10th house of work, for instance, and you absolutely haven't got a clue where you're heading at. And but this is the process. This is, by all those sidewalks, you could say, you enlarge and enrich your clarity, your information. And so this is actually a very interesting transit, but not the easiest one. It's okay, so it's very much from confusion. My goodness, what is this? What is this thing doing? It's from confusion into clarity. That's basically it. What else? Also, you can, if you have this transit, you can ask yourself the question, is there something that I'm running away from? Is there some truth that I don't want to see? Is there a truth that I see? I hope you won't get as annoyed as I am annoyed now by this camera that is going up and down all the time. That's a bit of the Mercury-Neptune. But it is also a very good time to question yourself about, are you escaping from some information? And is this escapism helping you, actually protecting you in a way? Are you running away from information? Are you... Or is the information that you're running away from too painful to bear? Maybe that is the case. Ask yourself those questions, and don't be disappointed when you don't know the answer straight away, because you won't. You will not. And sometimes you will think, yes, I have the answer, and then it escapes again. So basically the transit, if you're having a Neptune Mercury transit, it gives you lots of clarification after that whole process of that might be confusing, but it also gives you the ability to something that is not tangible, to explain that to others in a very tangible way. That's the Mercury, that aspect with Neptune. So something that is difficult to grasp, that you can grasp it in the end. Now, what about synastry? Synastry is when you have two charts of people and you put them together, and then there is a telephone line, an aspect between the Mercury of one person that is aspecting the Neptune of another person. What does it mean? Is it a good, is it a nice aspect or whatever? Now, it depends. So when it is a Mercury trining with a Neptune of someone else, or when it is one's Mercury sextiling the Neptune of someone else, it's rather experienced in a positive way, that people stimulate each other. It can be that the one person is very poetic, for instance, and that the conversation is very much on a soul level. Or it can be that the one person is very attracted to the other person's psychic ability, or there is this kind of psychic understanding. These people, they don't need words to understand each other. They communicate on another level, on a subconscious level. That's the Neptune Mercury. So it can be very pleasant to have this in a synastry. Of course, when it's a square or an opposition or a conjunction, you need to you need to be very aware of the fact that deception is not necessarily, it has to be there, but there is tendencies. So I think awareness is a big thing here, and being aware of the fact that, not on purpose even, but on an unconscious level, the one person can deceive the other through their words, or giving the right, not the right information, or is pretending to say other things, or being different than how they project themselves, etc. So actually all the energy that I just described, you see it now between two people. Its communication can be very fog, can be very difficult in that way that it's not clear. Does he mean this, or does she means that? What is it? So it's not, I think, that heavy, although communication, don't underestimate communication in a relationship. When there is a constant, I don't know how this is, I don't know how that is, it's crazy. But it again depends on the personality of the people. If both people can deal with that, if both people don't make a drama out of this, it's okay. If both people are very rational people, and both, if there are people who don't like blurred information, don't like things not to have a definition. If you are like that, it can break a relationship actually, because there is so much fog, especially with the opposition, the square and the conjunction. But again, this is one synastry aspect. You cannot make your fully conclusion just by this one aspect. But if you are someone who really wants to deal with this, you just try to explain the best you can. You try to be aware of the fact that what you say can be misunderstood. And I think awareness can help a lot. And of course, you need to look at the other aspects, if they can compensate that. If there is some strong Saturn or some strong boundaries there, then I don't think it has to be a problem. So thank you very much for this video. Sorry for the at the end the camera that is not being very fixed, that is being actually very flexible, Neptunian Mercurial flexible. But let me know what you think about these aspects and how you experience them. Thanks for watching, and see you soon. Bye bye.